Hello and welcome to the GameShow Global Esports Cup here on GameShow_D2EN. This is Invictus Gaming versus For the Dream Club A. Invictus Gaming need no real introduction, however, their performance in the group stage was very underwhelming. In fact, their whole group, Newbie was the only team that really stood out, winning every single one of their matches in the round-robin format, and somehow all of the teams managed to make it a five-way tie for second place. Invictus Gaming barely do come out after they make a playoffs for that second spot. But it really is pretty crazy to me that Invictus Gaming had so much trouble, and a lot of people going into this match would have expected Invictus Gaming to be able to handle this one super convincingly. However, I'm not sure that's the case. FTD really impressed me with their play, especially their offlaner, XTT, as he was playing very well inside the group stages, and they managed to take 4 wins, whereas Invictus Gaming only take 2 inside their group. Still, we'll have to see how they face in a head-on-head clash. For the Dream, a group of very prominent pub players and players from teams here and there coming together under an in-house league, if I'm not mistaken. It would be very interesting to see them upset against IG, but enough of that. We'll get into the draft. Now, first bans, it's going to be Winter Wyvern, Shadow Fiend, Broodmother, Doom taken out with an IO first pick by IG, followed up by the Night Stalker and Queen of Pain Disruptor for FTD. Really interesting that Invictus Gaming do pick up the Night Stalker after the IO. It feels like they're putting FTD in a bit of a mind game situation where do we ban the Tiny, do we leave it in? By the nature of the hero, I think you just have to ban the best combination with the Wisp. But it looks like IG are very confident going into this draft and have a very set idea in mind. If we take a look at how much time it took them for that gyrocopter ban, not very much at all. They had a good idea what first for the Dream, excuse me, we're going to do. Now to follow up this IO ban or Tiny ban, excuse me, a lot of the time they become interchangeable because they are just that prevalent together. Now let's see if For the Dream are going to ban out any other combinations. They might have difficulty dealing with the Bristleback if IG want to go for it, but just the innate synergy between the IO and the Night Stalker together is very terrifying to play up against. On that second nighttime, you feel so constricted in your movement on the map, even if IG aren't finding all of the kills that they really want to with those heroes. They're still going to have so much farming space on the map where you're forced to huddle together as your 5-man unit, or else you're just going to get picked apart. And it really is a scary way to open up the draft nowadays. It is a full best of 5, and it'll be interesting to see how the draft develops from game to game, as we're going to be here for quite some time this evening, and immediately following IG versus FTD Club A, we'll have DK versus Newbie, which also should be an interesting series to say the least. FTD are going to ban out the Bristleback. It really is just one of those heroes you'd rather not deal with, but I think IG might have had something else in mind, and there's so many heroes that combo well with that IO. Maybe a Sven, maybe a CK. It'd be a lot of fun to see from Invictus Gaming. Or something different altogether. It's very interesting to me that they ban out the gyrocopter. They probably could have left that in the pool if they wanted it. And it feels like IG just don't. There is always the chance that they go for the IO for the sake of IO, or partner up the IO with something a little bit less conventional, like an Ember Spirit. Granted, Ember Spirit's a very popular hero. I'm not saying that Ember Spirit is not a conventional pick, it's just usually not partnered up with the Wisp. For IG, I think that would match the job description of what they need this core to do. As an early fighter, they'll get involved at about that 12 to 15 minute mark. Once Night Stalker hits his second nighttime, and once IO gets that relocate up and running. For FTD, they'll pick up the Undying. Undying's natural counter, the gyrocopter, at least the counter to the Tombstone, is taken off of the deck. And Undying tends to be a little bit difficult for IO to deal with. If you're relocating in, both the Disruptor and the Undying have very big AoE controlling spells that will make it difficult for most IO partners, and I think Invictus Gaming might consider shying away from your traditional selections here and maybe pick up something different entirely. They'll have a good amount of their reserve time to consider it, but the aggressive potential of FTD Club A's heroes is not to be underestimated. The amount of damage you can get from the Queen of Pain is absurd, and once they start grouping up, once you get that ultimate up for the Disruptor, once you get level 5, level 7 on the Undying, you can play so aggressively. And even before that, Undying, if he has some sort of partner in the offlane, could be a very potent hero. Still, it's very interesting to see Darkseer not picked up, and for IG now, they're going to snag the Templar Assassin for their side. Templar Assassin, the direction she with Io and Night Stalker really isn't there, but it feels like just a generally good hero for IG to pick up now, with a good matchup against the Queen of Pain. Not perfect, but not bad either. The killing potential for either side is very slim to none. Outside of rotations, of course, which could happen from both teams. Now for FTD, maybe they themselves go for the Ember's Spirit, although Ember is going to really have a hard time dealing with the Night Stalker Silence, is a fairly good core at dealing with relocate ganks. They're very projected, you have a lot of time to be able to activate that Remnant, get back to a defensive spot, and a very mobile carry that also deals well with a lot of your IO partners. But instead it's going to be a Jug for FTD. Really hammering down this 5-man group up in the mid-game for the Dream. It feels like their lineup has a lot more alignment when it comes to the timing windows they're going to hit. The amount of sustain you get from the Undying Juggernaut is pretty ridiculous, and the room for an Ancient Apparition on Invictus Gaming's side is not really there. Maybe they'll still consider going for it since it is just that potent, have Healing Word and the Decay, and a potential mechanism from whatever the offlaner is. From FTD, maybe a Darkseer is their last pick, or maybe that's banned out by IG regardless. Now, IG probably lacking a support and a safe laner, or an offlaner for themselves, although it kind of feels like Night Stalker is going to get that extra bit of room for them. Now, 13 seconds on live time to consider this last pickup coming up from Invictus Gaming, going into the final stage of bans and picks. 5, 4, 3, 2, Lina. Invictus Gaming are going to get a lot more damage from this selection, and it looks like this is going to be a mid Lina. There's always the flexibility that comes out from the Lina pick, and with the Templar Assassin already on the pool, maybe it is a support. Still, they're mostly going to be free-handed Light Strike arrays. Not to say that Invictus Gaming aren't capable. This is a very competent lineup and incredibly good. It's another pick, though, that feels like it's going to be kind of hard for Invictus Gaming to pull off. They have a lot of individual power on each of their heroes, a good mix of magical, physical damage, and later on, once the axe comes out for Lina Pure, still their initiation is very much lacking, and they're going to need some way to split up these fights, because For the Dream are going to be grouping up so aggressively in the mid-game, and this could be very difficult. It'll be a Viper ban from Invictus Gaming and a Sven ban from For the Dream, taking away that reliable setup for the Lina stun. If they do go for a more traditional IO partner, the CK could be very interesting to see when it comes to the minus armor synergy between the Templar Assassin and the Chaos Strike from the Chaos Knight. Now for the Dream, how are they going to round out their lineup? It really feels like they have the pick of whatever they want, and Invictus Gaming are expecting the Queen of Pain to go to the offlane. Something that you will see your Chinese teams do quite often. I would not be opposed by any means to see For the Dream pick up the Darkseer here. Just as a very potent lane combination with the Undying, but more than anything, just that mass amount of team fight power that the Darkseer will give you is going to be really hard for IG to stop, and it's going to be a Beastmaster instead, and I think that's just fine. although it's not going to be a natural mech carrier, we're probably not going to see him pick up that. It's a much better single target initiation, which is huge against the Templar Assassin. There's not very many heroes that they need to focus down other than that, and the physical damage you get from the Beastmaster is ridiculous, especially for a hero like the Io or like the Lina. If they get isolated, comboed with the Juggernaut, a very low base attack time hero, your auras, the stacking attack speed auras from Necronomicon and from the Inner Beast, have a lot of value this game for the Dream. And I really do like the For the Dream lineup quite a lot, but Naga Siren is going to round things out for IG. They have a lot of ways to save their allies from the Roar, but also this split push coming out from the Naga Siren is going to be very, very annoying for IG to deal with. Now, let's see how everything's going to be distributed across our players. It is worth noting that this is the full Invictus Gaming lineup, and this is the full For the Dream lineup. On the Dyer's side, Invictus Gaming are going to put Luo on the Naga Siren. That'll be UMR or Ferrari, as he's more commonly known, on the Templar Assassin. No? Oh dear. They changed names on me beforehand. Super is going to be on the Io, no big surprises there. That'll be Rabbit on the Lina. And Chuan, last but not least, on the Night Stalker. For FTD, interesting. They're actually going to put XTT on the Disruptor. Throughout the group stage, he was playing on the support role, but it is worth noting that FTD are in a bit of a state of flux when it comes to their players and what they're going through. Ugh. Seems almost impossible to find at least Latinized names for them, so I'm probably not going to try. Sorry about that, guys. We'll work on that in the upcoming weeks. But yeah, this is not the same 5 players that were with them just a couple of days ago, if nothing else. Now, the contention for the bounty runes is going to commence. Queen of Pain. How are these lanes going to shake down? Oh, very interesting. Has an old talisman recipe, Mango Tango. Is this going to be a mid-jug? It sure looks like it. Against the Templar Assassin, I would have expected the Queen of Pain to go mid, and the Juggernaut to be your safe lane farmer. It's so very hard to kill off the Queen of Pain as the TA, and I don't really see any benefit of putting the Juggernaut in this lane, as opposed to putting the Queen of Pain here. The raw amount of physical damage coming out from Ferrari is going to be really hard for the Juggernaut to deal with, especially if the Sideblade pokes start. Juggernaut's going to spin, and this is potentially one of the better advantages that he has. Just that amount of damage from the spin is going to be really annoying for Ferrari to manage. Still, I think he'll be able to do just fine, and maybe even a tad bit better than the Queen of Pain matchup. Interesting choice. We'll have to see if it pays out. If nothing else, it is something that is a less comfortable matchup for the Templar Assassin, or at least one that you haven't practiced nearly as much. Queen of Pain versus TA is a classic pairing of heroes in that mid lane, 1 versus 1. Undying Beastmaster. If they can isolate the Io, that could be a very easy kill here, but yeah, this is potentially going to be a little bit harder for them. This Lina, although she's very low on HP right now, 3 decay stacks got to put her at 321 max HP. The amount of range poke that you get from these 2 heroes is pretty darn huge. And I'm not sure how much killing potential they really have. And down towards bottom lane, the Night Stalker Naga Siren lane coming out from Invictus Gaming. A huge amount of armor on both of these heroes. 5 base armor on Chuan, 6 base armor on Luo. Trading hits for them is going to be fairly easy. The Shadow Strike from the Queen of Pain is going to be a general nuisance, but it feels like IG have a good landing stage across the board lined up for themselves. 10-2 compared to the 5-1 on the Juggernaut. I don't think anybody's super surprised that Ferrari is doing very well here, and the Jug is going to look to take the top rune. He already has his bottle up and running to be able to spam out that Blade Fury. But if you try to Blade Fury on top of the Templar Assassin down the line, maybe you even see Templar Assassin put a skill point in that meld. For now, it looks like he is just holding that point. And now he's going to make his way all the way down to the bottom spot. Chuan is here to defend this regeneration rune for them, but it's actually the Disruptor being in a lot of trouble. They're going to go into XTT. Can they kill him off? They have the net down the ground. It's first blood on the lead. Oh my goodness, the secondary kill only seconds afterwards. They'll silence up the Queen of Pain. She does have a blink. Is the silence going to last long enough? It will. And she is going to make it out alive. But top lane, I can only imagine just one too many decay stacks coming out from the Undying. It looks like it was only one. Just the Boar Slow combined with that Undying is ridiculous if you get out of position. It's such a hard lane to juggle your hero's spot in. Even with that first blood, I think IG are pretty comfortable with how these lanes are going. But that first blood certainly helps the side of For the Dream. And that extra gold was secured by the Undying. I don't think it really matters who picks up the first blood in that top lane much. But getting early arcane boots on the Undying is pretty darn huge. Beastmaster, of course, maybe wants to rush towards his Necronomicon, but he does have that Orb of Venom up and running. The stacking slows is pretty ridiculous. Healing Word is up for the Juggernaut. He's going to put a lot of damage into Ferrari here. Healing Word is going to be destroyed, and Ferrari does have a regeneration rune, but can he get out from this spin? Under the tower, tanking shots. The Juggernaut's going to be able to get this kill. Nicely done, Juggernaut. That really helps out his laning stage. CS-wise, it wasn't very close. But now with a kill under his belt, Juggernaut's going to be feeling mighty fine about himself. Now everything's kind of slowed down. Not a lot of rotation in this game, and that's a lot down to the supports from both teams. Night Stalker eventually will get to a point where he wants to rotate off of this bottom lane, and maybe that time is now. It is the first nighttime. He has a point in Crippling Fear and in Void. Not a lot of mana to abuse that, though. Looks like he is pulling out a Clarity and a Mango. So that problem is going to be resolved very shortly. Top lane, they'll drop the Tombstone. The slows onto the Lina are pretty ridiculous. Turns around under tower with the Dragon Slave, getting a lot of damage off into the Beastmaster. Salving up, turning around the corner. Light Strike Ray is going to connect. The Beastmaster slow is there. The axes fly, and they will be able to kill off the Lina before losing a Beastmaster. A double kill. First Undying, he's going to be able to punch down the other. The squishy nature of both the Lina and the Io here is really going to make it difficult for IG to get anything further out of this lane. Level 4 on the Lina, you could, in theory, back off and farm some stacks, but with the focus of the supports on their side lanes, they really haven't been able to make that timing in order to get that extra bit of farm. Chuan, deep behind enemy lines, is going to be accompanied by the Naga Siren here. They'll bring in the Ion. Maybe this is the time for them to strike. The Queen of Pain sticking around in lane. They have a very long silence for this, and if Chuan finds an angle, this could go very terribly for the Radiant side. They don't know about this rotation. They're getting a full wrap around. The Naga Siren and her illusions are there to tank the tower. Net to open up under the Queen of Pain. Crippling Fear to follow up. The Queen of Pain cannot do anything about this. It will go down. They have TPs in. From the Undying, dropping the Tombstone. Going for this dive is really quite hard for Chuan and Luo. Can the Naga Siren get out of here alive? Taking tower shots with the dagger slow and the Undying's Tombstone slow. That's going to be a dominating spree for this Undying, as he already has his arcanes. Level 5 is getting a lot of space. Is that space enough, though, for the Dream.A? I'm not so sure. Getting their levels on their heroes is the most important part about this, but Queen of Pain really is very far behind where you'd like your Queen of Pain to be, about 6 minutes, and you want her to get close to getting that level 6 mark, even from the safe lane roll. Usually what you'll see is the Queen of Pain left in a lane where she can comfortably stand alone, but that's just not this situation. Templar Assassin, as well as the Juggernaut, trading blows. Ferrari in a lot of trouble. His defensive charge has gone Omni Slash, and Juggernaut has his second kill over his lane opponent. This Juggernaut is working out way better than I thought it would for FTD. Just 2 slight oversteps coming out from the Templar Assassin. And this is not something you would have seen if this was a Queen of Pain in the lane against Ferrari. The amount of killing potential a Queen of Pain has on TA is very limited. Her damage is, although you get a little bit from, or dot from the dagger, usually that dagger is going to be disjointed by the meld. 2 points meld from the TA. I do like the skill build coming out from Ferrari, but he just doesn't have a lot of help from his allies in this lane. Still farming reasonably well, and those meld strikes are going to put quite a lot of damage into the Juggernaut. And, ooh, Maybe looking to get aggressive. Another spin. He's getting a lot of physical damage onto this Juggernaut, even through the spin. But now Ferrari in a bit of trouble. Going to turn with the refraction. And now looking for the side blade spill. Not going to connect on the second spill. The healing ward's down on the deck. The IO orbs trying to juke them out. The Juggernaut will survive inside the tree. 67 HP. Glimpse away onto the Templar Assassin, saving Disruptor's life even further, and Invictus Gaming are going to be denied that revenge in the middle lane. With bottle charges on the Templar Assassin and the IO, they're going to be just fine. That was well played by Ferrari, and a good attempt at a kill. It's just so hard once this Juggernaut gets level 8. It's, if nothing else, a very tanky hero for them to go on, and a very fast one at that too, that's trading effectively even if you start right-clicking him inside the spin, which is usually not something that Templar Assassin struggles with. The other lanes aren't going so well for the Dream, however. Their top lane Beastmaster is doing fine. He's not sad with his situation in this game by any means. He's almost level 6. In fact, this next creep wave should give it to him. And the Undying's getting a lot, but the Queen of Pain really is struggling a bit. Even though she's struggling, though, once she gets that level 6, her ability to contribute on these kills is pretty high, and for the Dream feels like they have a good window, and with Aurora up on top lane, they'll go for the Lina. There is no relocate available for the Io. Sorup's going to be thrown, still slowing them down. Lightstrike is going to be juked by the Undying. Lina, however, has made it back to safety, and it looks like she will be just fine. Here comes Chuan, though. Void is not even necessary. Laguna Blade will crater the Undying. And now looking for the Beastmaster. They have the Light Strike Array connecting. Beastmaster a lot of trouble. Turns to the Axis, trying to get the IO kill. It's so close. They won't be able to get him. The IO's inside the trees. Light Strike to bail him out. And he's A-okay. No, he's not! Never mind, I spoke too soon. Disruptor's here with the Thunderstrike, looking to make it a secondary kill. He doesn't have the mana, though, for his ultimate. Dragon Slave! Lina's gonna get that at the cost of her own life as Queen of Pain joins the top lane. So many heroes in this top lane. They want to make sure that they're the team to get the better half of it. There is mana for the ultimate if Queen of Pain pops her Mango, but it's not a 100% kill onto Chuan. This Night Stalker is darn tanky, and he's gonna make it back into the safety of his tier 1. 8-6. What a mess. The big winners here, Juggernaut farming in mid lane, and Nagasiren farming in bottom lane. I think we can call that a pretty even exchange. At least considering the kills beforehand for IG. The second half of it does turn around nicely for the Dream. Still, that Lina was involved in so many kills that it doesn't feel like it's going to matter too much. An interesting build. Coming out from the Lina, she's going to be building the mechanism for the team. Very common for a support Lina, but she's been getting a little bit more farm than your supports, especially after those kill involvements. The top net worth of the team just shy of where the Juggernaut's sitting. And speaking of the Juggernaut, Ferrari in mid again going to fall to that dot damage coming out for the spin. Oh, killing spree for him. I'm not sure if we can call Juggernaut a lane counter to the Templar Assassin yet, but in a pure 1v1, I mean, maybe we can. Bottom lane Sonic Wave, they'll kill off the IO. The Queen of Pain's going to be pretty banged up here, but will turn for a Scream onto Luo. This is just a brawl between these two heroes. As long as the Queen of Pain keeps her distance, should be fine. Probably won't be able to go for this Naga Siren kill, though. Well, some of the illusions and looks for the regeneration rune that has spawned. Queen of Pain, you're going to be able to snipe it. Blinks in front. Oh, they'll even use the song for it. Oh, dear. Nice. Yeah, Luo should be just fine. I'm really surprised he commits a song for that. No, that's my regeneration rune, Queen of Pain. You can't have it. Naga Siren will continue farming. And now with a little bit of help from the IO, they're going to get the net down. The IO orbs are not initially enough damage. Queen of Pain, can you get out? No! The minus armor from the Riptide plus the right clicks of both of those heroes is just enough. And on the other side of the map, the Undying falls in top with a lot of rotations in from For the Dream that don't net them anything in return. And now Chuan, he's ready and willing to go for round number 2. That is if they show themselves in the lane. They have Aurora. They have no Static Storm. They tried to use that to get a return after the Undying goes down, but that's not going to be the case. Down towards bottom lane, they're going to jump for the Queen of Pain again. Silence up for what feels like a year, and she's going to fall. That was just a TP gang coming out from Invictus Gaming. Nice rotation around the map coming out from them. This is still anybody's game. The advantage that either team has picked up is hardly substantial. 1,500 net worth advantage for IG and 2,000 the experience advantage. It feels like they have the kill momentum, but not by much. Tier 1 tower in bottom lane is going to fall as Naga Siren's been pushing that in. That is going to succeed for them. With that darkness used, first by Chuan, and now with natural nighttime falling, IG are the ones to pick up the killing ability, and really the threat on the map, although they are down 1 kill. Let's see how important this first nighttime coming up from Chuan is. Now down towards bottom, Queen of Pain. In a little bit of trouble here if they can get a net to connect. Queen of Pain looks like she is just fine. Gonna blink out into the trees. She knows what's up. She knows that there's a Night Stalker there. Or at least that he was around the corner. Ooh, that's the dire vision. But they had the lane ward. They had the ward here that now spots Templar Assassin joining the party bottom lane. IG are going to pick up this mech on Lina and then just group. They have such an advantage inside these fights right now that isn't really reflected by the net worth graphs, and then they'll immediately smoke. I really like this smoke movement coming out from IG. They're going to allow Ferrari to farm up his creeps. You can go ahead and farm a little bit. We're going to go for a kill. And let's see if it's going to happen. A similar smoke from For the Dream. XDT smoked up with the rest of his team. The Disruptor is going to be the one to lead the charge. And nothing's going to happen yet, but here's the Queen of Pain. Crippling Fear. That's a dead Queen of Pain. Laguna Blade, net down. They'll glimpse back the Io. He's mech'd up by the Lina. Can the Io survive? I don't think so. Trying for the relocate out. Not going to happen. He's going to be brought down. The Courier is flying over the Tombstone. Courier will be just fine. And maybe they'll even use it to catch eyes on the Undying. I really like the Courier micro there to make sure that they get this Undying kill. And wasn't even enough. The Undying's pretty quick. Running away. Chuan's going to secure it. On the retreat. Oh, that was so fun to watch. Hardly ever do you see couriers used in that manner, but they're going to pop darkness. They're ready to go. They're going in mid lane. They don't have a Laguna Blade. Down the sidelines for 37 seconds, but Chuan wants to go for this dive. Places down the vision, and in just a second, if Disruptor's not careful, it's going to be spotted out. But XGT, I think he has a pretty good idea of what's going on. He's going to go ahead and hide in the trees. Stay in the trees. Much safer there. 11-11, the kill score is tied, but it doesn't feel like the momentum is. IG with a pretty substantial lead now, above 4,000 net worth in their favor, 4,000 in the experience as they start to pick up its early momentum. Despite that Undying getting really huge, really fast, starting out 4-0, he hasn't been able to get that much after the fact and transition that into a substantial lead for the team. He's died 3 times after the fact, but here comes the Disruptor and the Juggernaut. Hasted Juggernaut. They are probably going to kill off this Lina. I see no way for him to get out. The relocate is not available for 10 seconds. He'll get glimpsed away, breaking the tether, but with a Laguna Blade kills off the Disruptor. Here comes Queen of Pain. Lina is going to fall to the spin, and well, they will be able to bring down that hero. Would have been a lot cleaner if they had an Omni Slash available, but what's done is done. 12-12, an advantageous kill for the side of For the Dream. Deeping back to the tower. Naga Siren has a song. If things start to look poor for the side of IG, they can look to reset. Naga Siren is going to go for that Radiance. I don't think this comes as a surprise to anybody. IG are fighting so well at this stage in the game. And if they get this Radiance Naga Siren up and running at any reasonable time, of course it's not going to be the fastest Radiance you've ever seen, but it's not going to be the slowest either. A perfectly reasonable time, and maybe even a little bit better than perfectly reasonable. It's going to be good. That slow push is going to be really annoying for the Dream to deal with. The ideal situation for FTD here is that they get this early lead, and then they start grouping up as a team. They have the drums on the Juggernaut. They have the Beastmaster who's going to be going for his Necro Book, almost finished. That level 1 Necro summons up and ready for their side, and start taking down towers. But it's actually IG to be able to get this early pressure, and I'm absolutely digging this mechanism on the Lina. They're going to use Relocate to refresh the IO and maybe heal up some buddies on the way here. I think he's going... Where is he actually going? I didn't see where he relocated from. Was that a misclick? Maybe he thought they were going to go. Maybe he thought they were going to commit a roar. But right now, For the Dream are really on the back foot. And I don't think they're in any situation to go ahead and commit. They'll get a glimpse back in Lina. Just short one. Keeping the kinetic field, but following up on that is so very difficult. Beastmaster's around the corner. He might be looking for a roar angle. This is an awkward standoff. The Naga Siren isn't farming as much as the Jug here, but she has her Relic Gold. Even though they don't get a tower there, it buys Luo the space to get that crucial item up and running. And Necronomicon is talking about just a little bit earlier for the Beastmaster is up. But it feels like IG are going to slow down the pace, at least when it comes to grouping up and pushing for towers. They're still free to go for these pickoffs, and if they can connect onto the Queen of Pain, this is going to be a very dead queen. She's working towards that Yule's Scepter, and almost mandatory against Chuan's Silence. That Crippling Fear is so annoying. And also against the Lina's Yule's Scepter to a lesser extent, if it is in fact going to be Yule's on the Lina, which I think it will be. They're going to get a full wrap on this Jug. Juggernaut's way far away from having any help. They'll drop the Darkness, Crippling Fear, not in time, and he's going to be able to TP out. Quick reactions from the Juggernaut. As soon as that Darkness pops, you're like, oh no, they're going for a gank on me, let's get out of here, and he will. Well played Jug is going to evade disaster. Still the situation is there for IG. This Naga almost has her Radiance. That is terrifying. Now, everything's kind of slowing down for a little bit, although the Lina has an Invis rune. Maybe this is enough to get her a kill. She's just shy of level 11. And not going to be able to find anything with that Invis. Undying is going to get the tower deny in mid, so that's at least something for the Dream to be happy about. But it's not enough. This is a Templar Assassin, Naga Siren, and Lina that are getting farmed. Compared to your Juggernaut that's getting farmed, your Queen of Pain, it's getting a good amount of farm, I suppose. Queen of Pain's item progression, however mandatory, I think the Yule's Scepter is a great selection coming out from her, is not going to be enough to stop this Naga Siren from split pushing. It's not going to be enough to stop this Lina from wrecking the team fights, and it's not going to be enough to stop this Templar Assassin who's going for Roshan now with the rest of her team. The tank with the Night Stalker, switch aggro over to Ferrari as soon as he has that refraction up, and now they're going to be able to get an Aegis for themselves. Second life up for the Templar Assassin is nice and all, but it comes to the cost of a tier 2 tower top lane, and a lot of damage onto their tier 3. This is the pushing power from FTD.A I was talking about in the draft, and it really is starting to kick it into pretty high gear. Tier 3 is going to fall. I'm not sure if IG can call that a straight up victory. Lena's going to kill the melee Necronomicon unit. That is a good amount of gold for them. Really, this play is just to buy the time for the Radiance, though. Now that the Radiance is online, finding that 5-man push for the Dream is going to be a lot more difficult. Still, they're getting items to make it ever more potent. You're probably looking at the Mantis style next for this Juggernaut, I'd expect. You're going to have that Necronomicon level 3 in just a little bit. Give him 2 minutes or so. And IG have not yet hit their full stride. Still, I think they're happy with the state of this game. A slower pace is great for the Naga Siren. Yule's Scepter is up for the Lina. She's holding down the fort until this Naga Siren can get huge, and it looks like she probably will. Now, we're back to natural nighttime. This is a spot where IG can look to start making fights happen and what have you. But really, we're in a situation where they're fine if this is just passive. You have the Aegis on the Templar Assassin, you have Blink and Deso, she's terrifying. However, she doesn't have a lot of teamfight cover. Unless IG try grouping up again. Oh my goodness. The smoke is going to break. They didn't see the TA on the left-hand side, but what they do see is Chuan in mid. They have the charge onto him. The Thunderstrike is there to get the glimpse back into the roar. They're focusing on this Night Stalker who's damn tanky. They'll be able to get him with the Omni Slash. Juggernaut will survive if only just, but here comes TA! Not surviving anymore! Ferrari with the double kill will be able to bring down 2 very quickly. They'll get a Light Strike to connect onto the Beastmaster. He's super stuck out in front. And if you're Chuan, you're so happy with that. I mean, you committed so hard to kill off a support Night Stalker. 3-1-4. Chuan's been having a great game, don't get me wrong. It's still so much commitment for the Dream that they don't have anything left to deal with the rest of IG's lineup. And now, Naga Siren's split pushing. Naga Siren's farming. Templar Assassin just got a double kill. 3-3-1. Ferrari's laning stage started out pretty rocky, but now he's back in the groove. He's the top net worth of the game, and it doesn't look like that's going to be changing anytime soon. And if it is going to be changing anytime soon, it's because the Templar Assassin has been overtaken by Luo. Excuse me. As Naga Siren's getting a lot of tier 2 damage off. For the Dream, it feels like their window is closing, and very quickly too. This game is really getting out of their hands. They have heroes that are amazing on the aggressive, but on the defensive, For the Dream really just aren't all that strong. Their ability to kill off these Naga Siren illusions already is not the greatest. Queen Pain's pretty good, I suppose. But these Naga Siren illusions are going to get tanky, and very quickly too. Boots of Travel should be done by the Naga, and even gets an illusion rune. Usually that's not like a huge rune, but for Luo, that's another at least 3 camps, or another ability to push out the lane. And this is scary. And IG have amazing vision right now. They see everything. They know exactly what's going on the enemy side of the map. I mean, of course, there's small lapses in their vision, but that's going to be completely remedied once Chuan picks up this Aghanim Scepter. He's currently scouted out by a Hawk. That's at least something that For the Dream have to secure some vision control around the area. But with Ferrari behind him and with an Aegis on this TA, Ferrari has no fear. Is he even going to go on this Juggernaut? Does he want some revenge for the landing stage? He's going to meld. Juggernaut is not going to expect Ferrari to be here. Meld Strike with the minus armor! It's 2-shot! Oh! Oh my. That was a play. That was a lot of fun to watch. Aghanim Scepter has done the Night Stalker, and For the Dream need to do something fast. Their control in this game is almost non-existent anymore. All of the lanes are pushing out in favor of IG. The Naga Siren's getting farmed. The Templar Assassin just killed your Juggernaut, and I bet you it feels so good for the Templar Assassin after a pretty poor laning stage, getting solo killed by the Juggernaut. Oh, we have the Necronomicon 3 for the Beastmaster. That's nice in theory, but in practice, I'm not sure if this is going to be really enough for the Dream, nor do I think it's going to be necessarily what they need. If they're able to get to a tower again, the amount of damage those Necronomicon units do is pretty ridiculous, with the buffs that they offer and just by themselves being pretty strong. But while they're inside these fights, they're going to drop so very quickly, and with the Templar Assassin that can take those out with refraction charges, and with an IO to sustain anybody who gets low, this is going to be very difficult. The BKB's done for Ferrari. And with Magic Community, I don't think For the Dream really have it in them to kill off this Templar Assassin. Not to say that they don't, in theory, have the tools. You have the Beastmaster Roar, you have the Omni Slash, you have the Sonic Wave, a good amount of ways to kill off this TA if they were able to find her completely alone. I just feel that they don't have the damage. Juggernaut's going to be working towards Battle Fury. Maybe that is an effective enough damage tool for them, and now they're smoking. It feels like For the Dream recognized their situation in this game. Look, IG are getting out of control. We need to do something now. And they're going to try. This is their window. Night Stalker has darkness ready, but it is natural daytime, so For the Dream have a little bit more vision. But they were spotted out, I'm pretty sure, as they went for that smoke. And if they weren't spotted out while they were going for that smoke, their grouping up was spotted. And IG have a pretty good idea of what they're doing. And now they're going to go for a smoke of their own. The Naga Siren doesn't have Boots of Travel available. This is just going to be these 4 heroes. But grouping up, IG could probably look to take a fight. I'm really liking this play across the board. It's been a lot of fun and very different from what they were showing inside the group stage. IG now, it's game time. They want to go to Vilnius. They want to get to the studio land, and now they're going to jump on this Juggernaut. He has the spin preemptively popped, and he is going to be able to run away. But what do IG commit for that? They drop a Darkness. That's it. And they get a tier 2 tower. And Chuan's going to be very liberal about using that Darkness. He's going to have the gem up. This is usually not an amount of farm that you see from anything other than an offlane Night Stalker. And Chuan's getting it because he hasn't died very much. The only death that he had came at the cost of 3 enemy heroes in that mid lane fight. And his farm is almost the same as that of the Beastmaster. The Disruptor can't even hope to get anywhere close to his Aghanim Scepter, and probably won't even go for that as his item build. And this Undying, after starting off the game dominating, is now struggling to get his mech up and running. He's going to get that mech soon, but it feels like the heroes coming out from For the Dream just aren't in any situation where they can fight and stop IG from doing whatever it is they want. Especially not when now you almost have perfect vision on the map. It gets a little bit harder for IG since it's only 2 points darkness, so they don't have near 100% uptime on the nighttime. And For the Dream again going to look for this rotation. They are going to spot out some Naga Siren illusions, and they know they're illusions. They can't do anything about it. And with it, Luo's just going to go all the way up towards top lane and keep on pushing. Keep up this pressure. For the Dream are in a bottle, and IG are keeping him in that bottle. As it is an August Siren game, the pace of it is a little bit slower when it comes to kills. Last super memorable kill was the one on the Juggernaut in mid. I don't think I've ever seen that before. Or at least it's very rare that you get to see it. Maybe I've seen it once, but really it's not how you usually use Melt. She became a techie mine. She was the bomb. And Ferrari really is. He has a double damage rune, or casual 2500 gold on top of it. This Juggernaut is increasingly becoming one of the only tools that For the Dream have taking these fights. He needs a good Omni Slash. Without a good Omni Slash, I don't think For the Dream have the damage output. And with the Battle Fury, with all the stats that he's picked up, he does have the chance to do a lot of DPS. That's very heavily reliant on IG not being able to focus him, though. And very heavily reliant on him being able to get lucky, I suppose, with the crits. For the Dream pick up a gem on their Disruptor, and I think this is the right item for them. Granted, it is risky. If you lose this gem, it's probably game. You're never going to get map control ever again. But if you don't buy the gem, you're never going to get map control ever again, either. I mean, the gem on the Night Stalker trumps the one on the Disruptor. But at the very least, they're going to feel a little bit more comfortable to farm on their side of the map. And that's something that they haven't been able to do for a long time. Roshan is up. IG should be able to take this out. I don't think For the Dream have what it takes to contest, although maybe they'll try. They've been spotted out by traps. They're going to glimpse back on the IO. This is a great way for them to start it. Can they kill off Super? And it looks like they will. IO popped. That was a clean kill. Double damage. Templar Assassin around the corner. Kills off the Necronomicon unit. Splinks up to the high ground. Ferrari, have they spotted you? Gonna melt. They have the gem. They should know this now. Before the Dream are going for Roshan. IG can crash this pit. They have the song from the Naga Siren. They have the vision from the Night Stalker. They know everything. That's ridiculous. And Templar Assassin's gonna blink down low ground. Two-shot the Juggernaut with the double damage rune still on at least the first attack towards the south of this fight. Naga Siren's getting so much Radiance Burn damage. They kill off the Beastmaster and Song to make sure the Undying has no retreat. They won't find anybody else. A bit of an underwhelming Song. They were hoping for more. Or actually... Oh, Queen of Pain was hiding in those trees. Sorry about missing that. Laguna Wayne gonna kill off the Undying. 4 heroes hit the deck. And IG, it looks like they've got game 1 in the bag. More than 15,000 net worth advantage in their favor. In fact, it's nearing 20,000 advantage for them. And net worth and experience. The amount of net worth that For the Dream have just isn't enough for them to be able to fight. They don't have the heroes for it. The scale in this stage of the game when the Naga Sirens is huge, when your Templar Assassin is two-shotting your Juggernaut in the last couple of engagements. 5-3 and 3. Ferrari has sufficiently gotten revenge for that early game. Yule Scepter, they're going to open up in the Disruptor. They have a Hawk over in the sidelines, but Disruptor just pops. They have an Omni Slash. That is not the Omni Slash I was talking about earlier. That's not good enough. They hardly drop super low. And the IO's probably going to be able to relocate out. The Sonic Wave is committed, but Queen of Pain dies in an instant. FTD. This is not play that you're going to make when you're ahead. It feels like, yeah, they're just going to call it GG. And it really was. IG, even though the kills were close, the game really wasn't. The game plan was always intact for IG. Even if their Templar Assassin dies a couple of times in the laning stage, the Naga Siren was left almost completely untouched by For the Dream because of how bad the laning stage was for that Queen of Pain. And IG are looking strong to take this best of 5 For the Dream. I definitely think they have a shot. I think the bettors are vastly undervaluing how well For the Dream were playing inside the group stage. But when IG are on point, they feel unstoppable. So let's see if they're going to be able to do it. Moving on to game number 2 in just a minute. Stay tuned.